Hello, everyone. It's Dr. Julie. Thank you for joining us for another podcast as you make great progress along your Body MD journey. The focus of these podcasts is to help give you great information and strategies to help you improve your emotional health and mindset so that you're in the best position to make lasting behavior changes to your exercise, eating, and physical health habits. Today's podcast is focused on the power of your relationships. We're going to talk a bit about assessing relationships in our lives. Where do we have healthy relationships? Where are we noticing relationships that are unhealthy? And for all our different types of relationships, are we noticing the best ways to create and maintain healthy boundaries for ourselves? So today we want to consider the power that healthy boundaries can give us in our lives. So what does it mean to create a boundary in a relationship? There are really different examples I've given of this over the years to clients and in presentations. And I think that boundaries are ways that we communicate and prioritize our emotional needs to others when we're in relationship with them. Boundaries, I think, are something that help protect our psychological well-being, our health. They help us to feel authentic to our own needs. They ensure that we're living a life that's aligned with what we value. Boundaries often help us feel safe, and they protect us in a way that helps us feel comfortable in terms of perhaps protecting our time, our space, or our personal values. For example, sometimes setting a boundary with a spouse can mean expressing that you cannot prioritize what they need from you in this particular hour above what you need to do for yourself. So maybe you had a doctor's appointment planned, you need to meet a work deadline, even something as simple as you were planning to take a shower. And a healthy boundary as an adult can just mean that you're prioritizing your needs and making sure that you can articulate your needs to care for yourself and weigh those as you're considering when to put someone else's needs ahead of your own. A healthy boundary as an adult with a parent could mean that you're prioritizing your needs and values over theirs. Perhaps they're insisting that you give up part of your weekend to attend an event with extended family. Maybe you set a boundary that, you know what, I want to have that relationship be prioritized with the family, but I'm going to reach out by phone, by text, because I don't want to miss my own event to prioritize what someone else is wanting from me. So these are just small, really simple examples, but you notice that setting boundaries means taking action. It's not just something that happens in our thoughts, but creating and maintaining boundaries requires an initial action and then often repeated actions to hold a boundary in place. So for a moment, I want you to think about where you've learned lessons about relationships throughout your life. Who has modeled healthy relationships that you've seen? Who provided lessons for you on the opposite end, like on the types of relationships you don't want to have? And can you think of people that seem to express healthy boundaries in relationships with their spouse, their partner, their parent, or a friend? What does that look like? How do you feel toward those people when perhaps they express a boundary toward you? Is it something you understand, or is it something you're often hurt by? All these are important to consider. And I ask these questions because many times it's important for us to consider where our lessons on relationships have come from. What messages have we constructed for ourselves about our right to create healthy boundaries in relationships? And beyond self-assessment today, I want us to take this a step further. I want us to consider whether a lack of boundaries in relationships could be impacting choices we make and energy we put toward focusing on our physical health. So let's think about that. Perhaps you can think of times where creating and enforcing a boundary with your child or your friend or your partner could result in being able to prioritize the time and the energy that it would take to get that workout in today. Maybe there are times where creating and enforcing a boundary with your child, your friend, would result in you being able to prioritize the time and energy it will take to meal prep, to have healthy food options in front of you, versus just grabbing whatever's fastest, what's the most convenient, even if it's not in line with your eating goals. So living healthy means you are disciplined and committed to making certain choices day after day. choices to follow through on exercise, choices to follow through seeing health professionals, to drink enough water, choices to follow through on making eating healthy for you again. Maybe it's even choices to follow through on getting enough sleep. All of these sorts of decisions throughout your day take energy, they take focus to be disciplined and committed. And sometimes I want to suggest to us today that it's the unhealthy relationships in our lives that can drain us. They can zap our energy. So if you find yourself at this point in your BodyMD journey, struggling with that day-to-day discipline and follow-through with your health goals, I want you to consider if some of your physical energy and emotional energy are being depleted through draining relationships. Are there relationships where more boundaries could be incredibly healthy for you? Where boundaries with certain people like coworkers, friends, children would make it easier for you to meet your eating and your physical health goals? Prioritizing yourself and being willing to make the tough, disciplined choices day after day can be a huge shift for some. So I encourage you this week to think about where your boundaries can be enhanced so there's more energy left for you to complete the goals you have for your health this week. Wishing you all growth and deeper understanding of yourself.